So I've been taking a look at the noise components on the Apple TV, um, and it's quite interesting. So the primary component of the noise is quite low in frequency. It's about 30 hertz. So that's kind of a audio kind of speaker cable kind of range. You can see it thinking right here. This is the Apple TV doing something regularly where it sort of thinks. You can also see it at times do other thinking. As it sucks more current, it's making more noise. And the high frequency jitter that you see is its internal switcher, its internal power supplies. So we've squashed that pretty much out, but it's still there too. Anyway, this is a lot more noise than I would expect. So I can see why these mods have made such a big difference, because getting rid of all this noise is really, really hard. This is a 500 microvolt per division range, so this over here is 500, 1000. That's about like 1.5 millivolts, which is actually kind of surprising altogether, because what I've done is, for just testing, what I've done is I've soldered together in a real temporary manner two 22,000 microfarad caps. So that's like 50,000 microfarads directly across, and I'm measuring directly across the scope probe. So that's a lot of 1 millivolts, kind of a lot for that much. I'm using my super cool, very, very, very low impedance, ultra low noise power supply, and there's no noise present here because it uses sensing, and it makes sure there is zero noise right here. But by the time that it goes through this little cable and gets to here, we've got a millivolt of noise. So the cable is not a low enough resistance, not a low enough impedance to completely squash it out, which is surprising, along with these caps. So I think what's going to happen is, well, first of all, wire does matter. So a good speaker cable is going to be the right way to do this, because of the frequency range and the power. The impedance of this is very low, so that would make sense using a speaker cable, and also the frequency range, the impedance, and the power. This Apple TV could suck up to 2 amps, so altogether that's like 25 watts. So it makes sense to use a speaker cable to do this. And then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make an external capacitor bank. Is really the right way to do this, and that can be added later. And that's going to have to go into this, because this thing is just, it's hard to get rid of all of the noise. There's a lot more than I would have expected. So it's going to need to get dealt with. There's pretty much no doubt about that. So anyway, that's quite interesting, really. There's the high frequency component. You can really see it here. You can see this is it thinking. So this drop from this center line is more current draw, and so it's really, there's a lot going on there. It's really slow trace, and you can see that as it thinks, and then it kind of goes along and it thinks again, and there's different timings of when it, so there's a lot going on here. And this is at a kind of a stable point. This isn't even streaming or anything. So this gets more intense as it does streaming. So there's quite a bit going on here.